Hey, I'm going to show you how to play the first guitar part of Say It Ain't So by Weezer. So I'm tuned down a half step, so you're going to have to tune to play along here. And I've attached the sheet music in the description. I attached a link to it, so you might want to print that out because I'll be referring to that a lot. So the sixth string is E flat or D sharp. The fifth string is A flat or G sharp. The fourth string is D flat or C sharp. The third string is G flat or F sharp. The second string is B flat or A sharp. And the first string is E flat or D sharp. Alright, so the first measure, we have a C sharp minor bar chord, and it's an A based bar chord, so learn those if you haven't already. Alright, and you're going to use a hammer-on technique. You take your middle and your ring fingers off, and you just play that, and then you hammer them on simultaneously. Alright? So you have 1 E and A. So you're going to strum down, hammer, and then strum back down, a ghost strum, and then pluck the strings going up. Alright, so 1 E and A. Okay? And then beat 2, you lift off of the chord. Take all the pressure of your fingers off of that chord to where you're muting the strings and strum down. And you just get a dead string sound. Alright? And then the and of 2, you move up to a G sharp chord, which is an E based bar chord. The only difference is you don't bar all 6 strings down with your first finger. You just hold the top string down. And then you strum this, and you only hit like the top 4 or 5 strings. Okay? And then on you hold that through the downbeat of 3, and then on the upbeat of 3, the and of 3, you hit the 6th string while still holding this chord. And then on the 4th beat, it's split into 4 16th notes, and you just hold this chord and you pluck the 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. So you go 4 E and A. Alright? So let's start over in this measure. We have a C sharp minor, hammer on, and then a dead string sound, and then a G sharp bar chord, and then on the and of 3 you hit the 6th string, and then 4 E and A, 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string. So we got 1 E and A, and then dead sound, 2 and on the G chord, and then 6th string is the 3 and then 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. So here's how that sounds so far. Oops. I went too far. It goes. Alright, so the second measure, you're still on this chord, the G sharp E based bar chord, and you move it up to an A. But instead of plugging all the strings, it sounds like he just skips the top string and he goes, alright? And that is the 1 E, and then and you just need to go down up. So 1 E and 1 E and 1 E and right? And then you deaden the strings, you just mute them, and you go another down up to start beat 2 off. And then on the and of 2, you just go down to an E chord, an open E chord, and you skip the top 2 strings and just play. Alright? So you have and that covers beat all the way to the and of 3, and then you hit the top note of the E string, the 6th string, and then you go up here to the 9th fret on the A string, and you hammer on from 9th to 11th, and then you hold the D and the G strings with your first finger down in the 9th fret, and then you slide back down to your first chord and start over again. The only difference between this the first time and the second time that you play this is you don't do the open E string and then the 9, 11, 9. You just, whenever you go to the E chord, you just hit the entire E chord. So here's what the entire part sounds like. The first two, actually the first 4 measures, okay? Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's right. The first 4 measures. Here it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that, alright? So, practice that, because that's like mainly the only part that that you'll be doing, with the exception of a couple of little lead parts, which is kind of cool. The second time that this guitar part comes in, there's another little guitar part that comes in. Instead of playing it the second time, you play this part. You would go it starts on measure 13, and you go in the 11th fret on the A string, and then you hit 9th fret on the D and the G strings, so you go, and then you hit the 9s again, and then you hammer on only the D string. So you're barring the 9th fret on the D and the G strings with your first finger, and then you're hammering on only the D string in the 11th fret with your ring finger. So you have 9, 11, 9, and then 9, hammer on to 11, and then on the move your finger down to the B and the G strings and play that, and then go back down to the 11th fret on the D string with your ring finger, and then go up here and play the 11th and the 10th fret with your ring and your middle finger on the B and the G string, and then you slide up to the 13th fret, to the 13th and the 12th fret, and then you go back down to the 11th and the 10th, and then you do a quick hammer pull while holding the B string with your middle finger in the 10th fret, and holding the G string with your first finger in the 9th fret, and then with your ring finger you hammer on to the 11th fret on the G string and then pull off. Alright? So, and then you hit the D string in the 11th fret, and then on the B and the G strings in the 9th fret with your first finger, and then move them down to the G and the D string in the 9th fret. So you got that the second time that guitar part comes in. Cool. So I'll try to put up another video of the other little triad part that is being played in the verses as well, and then and the chorus distorted part. So go practice that and download that sheet music, and that's a good song to start out on with all these new techniques you're learning.